everybody, and welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name again is JDavis. I'm the host of Radio Entrepreneurs. And for those of you who have been following us for many years, you will find us on all our websites, social sites. You'll notice that every week since day one, we've had our weekly check-in with the fabulous Marc Z for our Marc Z Moment. Welcome back, Marc.
Thanks, Jeff. Great to be here as always.
Thank you. So, Marc, what's up in the world of personnel and human resources and organizational change?
Well, one of the big subjects that has been happening not only happening, but obviously under discussion for several years now has been the independent contract rule relating to is somebody an employee or an independent contractor? And the government has laid out certain standards, whether or not somebody would be an employee. For example, do they have control over their work? How long is the project for? I mean, or is it how long are they being employed for? I mean, there are like six factors. And what I was going to say is that with the new administration, they're thinking about there's talk about rolling that back. And what I wanted to say is another one. What's the degree again? What's the investment by the worker and the company? Is there an opportunity for profit or loss relating to the person who is either the independent contractor or the employee? Who's going to suffer the loss, the company or the person, if the project ends or something like that? And whether or not the work is integral to the company. So there's so many factors that have been laid out by the federal government. And now with the new administration coming in, there's talks about rolling that back with a lot more flexibility for being an independent contractor.
Well, that's really quite interesting. And I hate to open up the subject that you started, but that also gets interpreted state by state as well, correct? And
Correct.
each state has their own type, like where I'm situated, Massachusetts, they tend to have a very strict rule around independent contractors. Where I was born in Canada, almost every white collar business owner is an independent contractor. So it's different
Correct.
everywhere.
I think also what the governments, whether it's a state government, more so than the federal government, they're looking for revenue streams. And if somebody is an independent contractor, they may not have what they're discussing is they may not have a LLC, or they may have a way for the state to gauge whether or not they're an employee or an independent contractor. So the default will be, in that case, if you're not an LLC, if you're not a company in some way or a C Corp, then you must be an employee of that employer. So that way, because the state is looking for a revenue stream for taxes, and they're getting, as you say, stricter and stricter. And recently, for example, you now have the question whether or not drivers for Uber or Lyft are employees, and the states are becoming stricter and stricter because they want that revenue stream.
Well, it's going to be an interesting thing to play out, especially for most of us who are in the service industry. There are a lot of people who I've interviewed over the years for myself and for clients. They would prefer to be independent contractors. So that part of that is
Correct.
also the desire. They don't want to be
Right.
affiliated with any one firm. They want to be an independent firm themselves.
Right. Right. And it's easier for them, and that's what they want. So the government said, well, if you want that, then you have to become incorporated, whether it's as an LLC, which is now a more favorable incorporation, or a C Corp or a regular corporation. But the government is trying to control that because they need that tax income base. And
So this is a living topic, and it's going to be changing, I guess, over the next 90 days, 6 months. And
right,
I assume you have to be by profession, you have to be on top of this day to day.
right. No, absolutely. I mean, we have people that say to us, we want to be an independent contractor. We don't want to be an employee, especially like we have, as you know, a contract business. And they say, well, we want to be somebody that you send the project to, that we have total ownership of the project, and then we'll bill you for that. But under state law and the government law right now, the U.S. government law right now, you cannot do that. You have to be an employee of ours. So that's going to be something that's going to be watched. I think in the state end in Massachusetts, they're going to keep that stricter focus on what the contractor is. But the federal government is where we're going to be doing a lot of watching.
And I think some states like Florida, where I also frequent a lot, is probably going to be a lot looser than Massachusetts. So it's going to be an
Absolutely.
interesting thing to follow. I think for employers, there's no such thing as ignorance in front of the law. They need to stay in touch with you to know what the current law is as they're making deals with employees or contractors, because you don't want to run afoul of the law. So, Mark, if someone wants to stay connected with you, how do they find you?
Well, first of all, it's a good point you're making about employers being in touch with us. For example, we have several employers, because of what we do on our contract division, that if they want to have somebody for their different projects in the short term, they'll approach us for that project. Even if they know the particular person that's going to be doing that project, that person will then be an employee of ours. That way, we'll pay the taxes, we'll assume all the liability, and we'll do the proper reporting so the employer doesn't have to worry about it. But in terms of reaching us, Jeff, first of all, Google Marc Z, M-A-R-C, and the letter Z. Go on our wonderful Radio Entrepreneurs website, radioentrepreneurs.com. Go to marczlegal.com, MARCZLEGAL.com, and 617-338-1300.
And I've been tracking you, and I saw you being interviewed by Jonathan Friedman and then Phil Sharkey, Sheriff Sharkey, and that's great. And we look forward to more stories and you keeping us up to date on Radio Entrepreneurs.
Thank you.